I'm finna show y'all both videos. Cause guess what, you bitch, they recorded.
Did LA give up too much to get a guy who has been labeled soft, although he puts up 19 and 9, which only 11 other guys do?
Is that a trick question?
You tell me.
They gave up Kwame Brown.
Two first rounders.
I could care less.
Tied into his salary for
First of all, understand something. When you're giving up first round picks, if you are a quality team in playoff contention, it really doesn't mean that much. That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, Kwame Brown is gone. The City of Angels, Hollywood, just should be celebrated. Throw a parade already, whether you win a championship or not. This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. The man cannot play the game of basketball. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball. He's got bad feet. He can't really move, even though he's mobile. Doesn't really know what he's doing. Doesn't have a post move that he puts to memory that he can do 2 times in a row. He has no game whatsoever. Plays no defense. Doesn't have the heart, the passion, or anything that comes with it. And you doesn't have the heart, the passion, or anything that comes with it. And you're asking me whether they gave up too much? Please, the Los Angeles Lakers knew exactly what they were doing. They should be celebrating right now, and Kobe Bryant should not be saying a word.
Well, I don't disagree with you there. They need to run it to him, but he does need to be a bit more assertive and aggressive because just you know how it is, KP. If you on the court and it's somebody that's going along to get along, he knows what he can do.
Mama's cooking. The fuck you talking about? I ain't no hater. I'm letting everybody get a little taste of mama's cooking.
So you done taught the world how to pick on athletes because in real life, you are a fucking loser. And you know there's more people in real life that suffer from that shit that you got going on, boy. That envy and that hatred that just creep all in the back of your neck and you can't stand to see another motherfucker shine. At 19, I had everything you wish you had. And so now you take it upon yourself to show these white folks that you can not only do this to a Kwame Brown, you can do it to Kyrie. You tried it with Kevin Durant. You've done it with countless players. They hired
sitting in the studio now. Before Kwame Brown got traded, I went to a Lakers game at Staples Center. And there was a moment where they were up comfortably. So Phil Jackson decides to call Kwame Brown's number on 5 consecutive plays. That doesn't happen. Kobe doesn't get his name called on 5 consecutive offensive plays. He did that for Kwame Brown. First play, he bounced it off his foot. Turnover. Second play, turn around jump shot. Air ball. Third play, he got stripped. And then he got bruised. Fourth play, jump hook. Air ball. Fifth play, he just gave it up.
And as a result, I don't get tired as quick as others get tired. People that's doing television because they want to be in front of the tube tend to get tired, just like anybody else, because your goal, your purpose is not as deep. When you see me on TV, my mission is clear. I love being a voice. It doesn't apply to everybody, but there's a community from whence I come. There's a limited number of individuals that have had a voice in American history. That resonates with me. Because I know when I speak, people are going to listen. And so I take it very, very seriously, as you can see on TV. Even, hey, why not just smile more? Damn it, because I don't want to. If you say something funny, I'll smile. If you say something that makes me smile, I'll smile. But what's most important to me in my approach to my job every single day is that when you look at me, you know that I'm serious about my business. I'm not playing. If I think somebody stinks, I really feel that way. If I think somebody's a superstar, I really feel that way. If I think that this dude right here can play, but he's got the wrong attitude, I'm not looking at him and coming to that conclusion. I have spoken to people on the inside who have enlightened me about this individual. And I have spoken to that individual and I got that feel for myself. You can't always say those things because you can't burn sources. But that's how it goes. And over the course of that, just going about the business of doing your job every day when you're in my field, it teaches you so much about life. Trust. It's so important because people need to be able to trust you in order for you to be effective at what I do. People have said a lot of things about me over the years. Half of the time, at least, highly negative. No one has ever said, I'm not trustworthy. Because you got to be willing to go down with the shit before you betray a source. Before you betray somebody's trust. Now, just because you do things that people don't like, just because you say things or do things that people aren't fond of, doesn't mean you have betrayed somebody. You might disappoint somebody. You might hurt them. But betrayal is an entirely different connotation altogether. Because betrayal gives the indication of something deceptive. I led you to believe something and went in a different direction. That's betrayal. Disappointment is, well, you don't like what I did. You're hurt by what I did. You're disappointed about what I did. Well, that comes with the territory. And you have to understand as college students that when you get out into the real world, the working world, there are going to be plenty of times when you don't make people happy. And that's what comes with the territory. Sometimes that's what greatness requires. Sometimes you got to take that extra step. Sometimes you can't be about the business of being friends. That's just real talk. And I'm going to tell you a little story. Kid, 23 years of age, graduated from Maryland. This is about a decade ago. Came up to me, wasn't even at ESPN yet. I was a journalist for the Philadelphia Inquirer, and I just started at CNN. And the dude came up to me and he said, Mr. Smith, I got this job offer in Seattle. Saw the way in Seattle was a good opportunity. Seattle Times, newspaper. A decade ago, that was a pretty good gig. I don't know about that now. Don't have a clue. But back then it was good. And the dude said, I got a problem. I said, what's up? What's the problem? I'm in love. I said, and? He said, well, you know, a girl's here in Maryland and she's saying, I can't go. I said, what do you mean? She's saying you can't go. You're following her orders? He was like, well, not exactly, but, you know, if I leave, she's not coming with me, and that means I'm going to lose her. What should I do? And I said, you really want to ask me that question? Really? He said, Mr. Smith, it really mean a lot to me what you just told me. I said, all right, you ask. Here it goes. Love don't pay the bills. He said, what? I said, love don't pay the bills. And I said, I'll take it a step further. I can promise you that no matter what love you think you have, it will fade when you can't pay those bills. I don't care what she tells you. If she's starving and you can't feed her, or if she's got her stuff going on but you don't have your stuff going on, you're going to get left in the cold. Now she might not think that way, she might not see it that way, but let's think about human beings. For the most part, we are progressive. We're trying to move forward. And if you feel like somebody is an anchor in your life, is bringing you down, eventually you're going to be out. And that's just the way it works. See, this is why I love coming to college and talking to students. I see it in people's eyes, they're really scratching their head. I know what I'm talking about. There is no doubt in my mind. I don't care about these women in here looking at me saying these lines. They know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. Fellas, deep in your heart, you know too. Because if somebody's bringing you down in your life, particularly at this juncture in your life, even if you don't know better, even if your breath still smells like Similac and you're wet behind the ears, you will catch up. This is just the real deal. This is the way it is. The time to start being about business is now. That's what I love about what I do. That's what I love about covering the world of sports, because it's supposed to be a distraction. Something that veers you away from the problems that ail us in the real working world. Before I was a sports writer, y'all, I was covering homicide in New York City. I got a job. I interned in Winston-Salem, interned in Greensboro, interned in Atlanta, interned in New York, and then got a job offer from the Met Pro program, a collaboration with the New York Times. I'm sorry, with New York, yes, it was the New York Newsday and the LA Times. I beat out students. It was like 3,000 candidates. They picked the following 24. I was one of them. Beat out students from Missouri, Columbia, USC, Harvard, Yale, whatever. They had all of these degrees from these prestigious universities. I had 250 published clips before I graduated because of the internships that I just told you I did, combined with writing for the school newspaper. So I had practical experience. And then the New York Daily News said, well, we don't want you to leave. So we're going to offer you a full-time job in your hometown, paying you about $20,000 more than what the internship program is offering. That was an easy decision. That was the easiest 1, 2, 3. Took that job. But in order for you to do the job, our high school sports department doesn't start until August 1993. So from April to 1993 to August of 1993, you need to cover homicide. Go ahead and Google 1993. When some dude got pulled over on the side of the road by the cops for some traffic ticket. And only then did they find out that he was a serial killer that was killing a bunch of prostitutes and burying their bodies in the bushes in Kennedy Airport. Why would I know that story? Because I was the first reporter on the scene. I was there a few feet away when they spotted bones. Because he had dumped the body in there months earlier, years earlier. Not just one body, but several. I knocked on a woman's door who was a mother. 30 minutes after the cops had informed her that her child had been murdered. I didn't want to do news anymore. I didn't want to do homicide anymore. I couldn't wait to get to the sports department. I almost didn't make it because it was too much to take. A story like that, what does it do for you? It gives you insights of what a cop's doing. It gives you insights of what military officers must be going through when bodies are lying around. It gives you a fresh perspective of what really, really matters. And then when you go into the sports world and you see guys talking and acting like something is life or death, you're like, really? After what I just experienced? After what I just saw? Do you really know? It allows you, forces you, and compels you to dig a little bit deeper, to find out a little bit more, to gain a level of perspective. So when you're covering somebody, you don't just take their words. You don't even just take their actions. You do what you can to be enlightened about the perspective that they come from. And that's how you humanize it and you tell a story. That's how I can tell the difference between somebody who's sincere and somebody who's full of it. All the time, you cover professional athletes. You are looking at a dude that went to an historically black institution, Winston-Salem State University, didn't have a journalism program, and this is where I'm at. New York Daily News, Philadelphia Inquirer. At the time that I became a general columnist, I was the 21st African-American sports columnist in the history of this country. Y'all don't know that. At the time, all of these years that you see these opinions, you see people talking and running their mouths about this is how they feel, this is what they believe. Black folks were not allowed to do that in the field of journalism. Not in sports. There were only a handful. The late Ralph Wallace, my boy now at PTI and ESPN, Mike Wilbon, Bill Rowland of the New York Times, Roy Johnson. List went on and on. Rob Parker, Brian Burwell, formerly of New York or USA Today rather. Larry Whiteside, that was working in Boston. Names some of you will never know. But it was only a handful. See, the thing that's very interesting, yet very, very deceptive about the world that we're living in today is that what you see on TV, particularly and especially as it pertains to sports, it gives you the impression that it was always like this. It was not. As recently as a decade ago, 6 of you could stand up. I'm sorry, 3 of you could stand up. Put both of your arms in the air with your fingers spread wide, assuming you got all your fingers. 10 apiece, times 3, 30. It was not even that many African Americans who had a license. And sometimes it's not even them. Mama, pops, cousin, brother, sister, hanger-on, whatever the case may be. It's dicey out here. So if you're going to do what I do, you can't just do it for the money. You can't just do it because you want to shine. You got to do it because you have a purpose. You got to do it because there are certain things that you are willing to take that risk for because there's a greater good. You think I liked when I had to talk about Allen Iverson? I love that brother. I know him. I know what he's been through. I know what he's had to put up with. But I also know that he contributed to his own troubles. Sometimes by trusting the wrong people. Sometimes by knowing trusting the wrong people and refusing to let go. Sometimes by not having just any thought, any conscience whatsoever about the profound effect it would ultimately have on his life. Somebody will look at me and they'll say, well, why would you speak up for Kobe? He got arrested. My attitude is a couple of things. He didn't get convicted. Number 2, innocent until proven guilty. And number three, based on everything else that I know, he never cheats us. That boy's an assassin. We ain't having Thanksgiving dinner together or exchanging Christmas gifts. Ain't none of my business. You get in the police blotters, you get yourself in trouble, and there's something that's happening, I'm all on it. Outside of that, I'm going to afford what I see you doing in the basketball court. Why you get on LeBron? Right here in Miami. Who the hell do you think you are, Satan? I mean, this guy is the greatest. LeBron had number one. And let me crystallize the difference between you. Let me make sure that you hear what I'm saying loud and clear. Because I mean this with every fiber of my being, and I don't give a damn how anybody feels about it. Nobody can sway my thoughts about this subject. I know how great LeBron is. Not only is he a great athlete, a great baller, actually a great person. Everybody's got their flaws, sure he does. But he's really a great person and a great ambassador for the game. He represents his piece the way that you want somebody represented. Doesn't get himself in any trouble, knows how to act like he has some sense, shows up to work on time, puts in the work, produces, gets results. All of those things were true, but there was a different thing going on that probably all of y'all were missing. Because y'all love the Heat. You were missing it. LeBron James got so large that had he not won the world championship, he was the absolute worst thing that could have happened to the game. The absolute worst. You were drugs. Simple. What would we say that? It's simple, ladies and gentlemen. When you are celebrating for something other than winning, and you reap all the rewards that are usually reserved for those who win, what you do essentially is give a license to others following you to be mediocre. You can never accept that. LeBron is cordial and nice to me. We'll probably never really have a real conversation again. When I give it to him, I'll let you know. It does not matter to me. Because my purpose is greater than his feelings. I wasn't rooting against him, I was rooting for him. Because I love the game. How can I hold Carmelo Anthony responsible, or Chris Paul responsible, or Kevin Durant responsible, or Russell Westbrook responsible, or Derrick Rose responsible? How can I do that with any of them? It's the person that's leading the pack in terms of popularity, in terms of money, in terms of prestige and notoriety and celebration can't win the chip. How can I do it? How can I sit there and look at somebody else and say, you gotta get it done? It all stopped with him. Never, ever, ever in history have we seen somebody more celebrated for having not won. He did. But I'm talking about before he said it. I'm talking about what I was saying prior to the win, prior to him capturing the chip. That's why I was on him. That's the real world. That's the world that I'm describing. And what I love about sports is that sports, better than anything, reminds me of that every single day. I rest. It is rare that I sleep. That's my world. Because to me, that's what winning is. That's how I define it for me. For others, it may work differently. But no matter how differently it works for you, you have to make sure that you are ready, willing, and able to compete. Otherwise, you will be left with nothing. And I'm only telling you this for one reason and one reason only. Especially when it comes to young minds, I believe the truth will make you free. And if you know it and you hear it, and it comes at you and it's presented to you and disseminated to you in a real fashion, you will respond to the challenge and you will be okay. Lies will take you down. Someone pacifying and coddling you will take you down. Because that's not the real world. But when realness is brought to you, you will know how to respond and come. And you will step up to the challenge. Questions? That man is touched. Please know that he's not faking anything. He really thinks that Tim Tebow is a better fourth quarter quarterback than Tom Brady. Wow. He really does. I just finished telling you the man means what he said. I'm not asking you, bro. I've known him for 16 years. He's a bit touched. He's not all there. He really believes that Tim Tebow is a better fourth quarter quarterback than Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. He really believes this stuff. But Skip, there is nobody else that I would have agreed to do the show with than Skip Bayless. No one works harder. He's incredibly focused and dedicated. He was a journalist for 35 years. And now that, he does the show, he does something different now. He's done with going to the games. He's done with going inside the locker room. If you want to talk to him, come to his habitat, which is that set. That's how Skip rolls now, but he's earned it because he did it for over 3 decades. And his whole thing is that he doesn't want to cultivate any kind of relationships where he believes that anybody else out there would believe that he's compromised because of his relationship with somebody from telling the truth about them. See, he's not me. I have no problem telling the truth about you looking me right in the face. I don't have that problem. I don't believe that because I like you or because we're cool that if you play like garbage, I'm going to have a tough time saying you play like garbage. I'm going to say, I'm sorry. I wish I didn't have to. But then I'm going to say what I need to say. And I'm not going to hesitate. He has a problem with that, and that's him. And everybody's got to be their own selves. But as it pertains to Tebow, let me make my arguments about Tebow very, very clear once and for all. Because might be somebody here from near Jacksonville area, wherever he's from. To be clear. Tim Tebow is a great kid. Tim Tebow is impossible to root against. Tim Tebow is an incredibly nice guy. And he is a God-fearing man. And I do believe he is completely and totally sincere about his faith. I just don't believe that has a single solitary thing to do with his ability to throw the football. I don't believe he can throw. I think he's horrible. And where I have a problem, I have never, ever expressed a problem with Tim Tebow. I expressed a problem with Tebow mania. Tebow mania. You've got religious zealots who want him so desperately to succeed because he personifies what they want professional athletes to be viewed like. And as a result, because he's a God-fearing Christian young man that preaches about celibacy and being a mercenary on behalf of the good Lord, his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, all these things. He feels very passionate about that stuff. And they feel very passionate about it. So they push and they prod to have him front and center because it highlights what they want to represent the professional athlete. I don't have a problem with those people. There are far worse things to do than to praise the Lord. I have no issue with it. Just don't tell me he is wrong. I don't want to hear that. Don't tell me that my eyes are lying to me when that boy throws a football. I don't believe it. I don't see it. So for me to express that is very, very important. And the last one about that is simple. It's so profound and so deep to me because as a black man, I know for a fact that many concessions weren't made for anybody else coming into the NFL. Tebow, according to Skip Bayless himself, his number one thing was fourth string. How you get first? I know that Kyle Orton stunk, and that he was 1-4, and that the Denver Broncos were on a fast track to nowhere. What about the other two quarterbacks that jumped over? Where were they? What I'm saying is that concessions were made because you had religious zealots out there that were pushing him front and center and forced the face of the Denver Broncos, John Elway, one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, a two-time Super Bowl champion. They actually forced that man to put that boy in that start line. They were booing John Elway because of what? A man that throws like he's a shortstop instead of a quarterback. I don't get that. And that's what I said. Now I ain't telling y'all anything that I didn't say on national TV. I've said all this already. I'm just repeating it just in case you missed the episode. I've said it. And I'm going to keep saying it. And I will stand firm on that position because I know I am right based on what I've seen. What you do from this point out is what you do. But based on what I saw, he can't throw. Question. I played on the basketball team. I took 18 credit semester hours at the same time that I was on the basketball team. I wrote for the Winston-Salem Chronicle, and then I transitioned to being a clerk and an intern for the Winston-Salem Journal. And I was a disc jockey for the radio station at night from 10 to 1 p.m. A lot of brothers and young sisters were very, very happy with me. The music that I was doing set the mood. What I'm trying to make is, I was doing a lot of things. I was setting the stage because, again, if you take passes in college, think about it right now. I'm walking by y'all, look at me, I'm slim, okay? And thank God I don't have a pot belly, but trust me, bro, I need to be in the gym. My problem is, I work too daggone much. Y'all young, I can assure you, you don't have my bills. So as a result of that, you got time on your hands. A little bit. No matter how busy you think you are, trust you me, any adult in here, especially those who are parents, will tell you, you got time we don't have. So what I'm saying to you is, in light of that reality, if you are lazy or looking for shortcuts, looking for ways to pass on by that rigid, hardcore schedule, if you are willing to do that now, what hope is there for you? Because you don't get more energy when you get older. You get less. So while you have the energy and the youth on your side, combined with the absence of responsibilities compared to what lies in wait for you, if you don't have work ethic now, you're in a whole world of trouble. And I did the internships that led to a full-time job at the New York Daily News as a high school writer. I parlayed that because I was kicking tail on the high school beat. The Philadelphia Inquirer came and asked me to be on the college beat. While I was on the college beat, I kicked tail on that. And as a result, NBA opportunities came through the newspaper. Backup NBA writer, features, things of that nature. And then ultimately position on the NBA. When I got promoted to that position, the lockout occurred. When the lockout occurred, and I was breaking these news stories as a reporter, the networks like CNN came calling. I kicked tail on that. Fox Sports came calling. I kicked tail on that. ESPN came calling. And the rest is history. All those other things. My number one mission was to be independent and self-sufficient to the point where I not only could provide for me, but provide for her. And that's what I did. Remember my show, Quite Frankly, that they had? When I signed that contract, the first thing I did, my mother had retired as a registered nurse. And she was going down the block in the PAL and playing bingo with her friends and all this other stuff, just living in retirement after 25 years as a registered nurse. She went back to work just to have money in her pocket because the pension she had built for herself wasn't enough. I signed my contract to do Quite Frankly in 2005, April of 2005. And when I signed that contract, I signed it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Midtown Manhattan. It took me an hour to get to Queens because of traffic. And I drove, and at 4 o'clock that afternoon, I rolled right up into that PAL office, and I said, come on, Mama, get out of here. So, you ain't working no more. That was my great moment. That was a moment sometimes I feel like I regret. Because, Mama was once happy with a cruise. And a couple of, just some nice gifts. Now my mother does a minimum of 4 to 5 cruises a year. She literally 2 years ago, called me. She was in the middle of the Mediterranean on the cruise, and I had no idea she was on. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? She said, I figured you'd know when you got the bill. True story. True story. That's how Mama rolls now. If you need somebody else's money, and they're turned off by the dreads, and you like getting paid, you have a decision to make. The paycheck in your head. It's that simple. It's not popular. It's like people walking around. The girls with the extensions. The brothers with the tats all over their body. It's your business. You can do what you want. But the boss has the right to do what he wants, but not one of you. How you would tell somebody what they should do with their money? That's like you like a Beamer. You like a Benz. You want an Escalade. You want it in black interior. Your boy coming to you, man, what the hell are you doing, man? Get the white one. The caramel interior. That's what you need to do. Man, come over here. Get him the white one. You know what you're gonna do? You gonna say, yeah, doggy. I'm sorry, you paying for this? You paying for this? Oh, you not? That's what you gonna do? Because he's not paying. It's the same principle. It drives me nuts when people lose perspective. Look, y'all. When I go on TV every day, I am a fair-minded individual. You black, you white, you Hispanic, you Asian, I don't care who you are. You right, you right. You wrong, you wrong. But the perspective that I deliver, I'm incredibly sensitive to my own community because I know that there's been so long where we lack the voice that I do everything that I can to try to project a voice emanating from my community so people will understand where we're coming from, how we think. Let us be heard. But that don't mean I'm going to agree with it, even in the process of explaining it. And I say all of that to say, when you have that kind of platform, the kind of issues that I address, these are the reasons why I get on players all the time, because it's counterproductive. I know players in the NBA, for example, they come into practice late, y'all, 60, 70, 80 times a year. And they like, what's the problem? Really? Really? It might not be a problem. But if this owner says it's a problem, if this coach says it's a problem, guess what? It's a problem. Because those are the rules. You don't like it? Step. I have to get out of here soon. You know why I gotta get out of here soon? Because ESPN wants me back in Bristol, Connecticut tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. for a meeting to prep for First Take, which comes on live on the air at 10 a.m. Now, today I did the show from here. Tomorrow, Amari Stoudemire is going to be in the studio. You know what ESPN said? We really like for you to be back in Bristol. You know what that means? Get your back in Bristol. We cut this check. This is what we do. When you land in New York tonight, you get your rest, you chill with your family. We're going to send a car service to pick you up in the morning and get you there by 7:30. All you got to do is get up here and just get in the car. We got the rest. And by the way, get the check. What you want me to do? When you start paying my bills, come talk to me. It's not complicated, ladies and gentlemen. It's not complicated. Fairness is what everybody alludes to. You know what fair is? Fair is a place where they judge pigs. Did you hear me? Fair is a place where they judge pigs. Doesn't exist. People want what they want. And in this society, more times than not, the people who cut the check have the power to get what they want. You don't like it? Tough. Doesn't change anywhere. That's why you really work for yourself. Because you don't want to follow anybody else's instructions. You want to follow your own. You want to be independent. Why? Because you don't want somebody to tell you what to do. The only difference between you and most people, particularly in this day and time, and you should be applauded for this, that you went out and did something about it by allowing yourself to be financially independent, where you have some degree of ownership over what you do, so as a result, you can afford to be independent. But if you were working for somebody else, you can't roll like that. I don't mind Greg's person, depending on what business I'm in. But if you were on TV with me and I was the boss, and you had a gold tooth in your mouth, you'd get rid of it. If I didn't ask you to say something about swamp or medicine, let me say this. Kwame Brown, he can't play. But that's not why I get on him. My problem with the Kwame Browns of the world, how in God's name are you 7 feet tall, 260, 270 pounds, 10 years in the league, and there is no noticeable improvement whatsoever? That's my issue. It's not where you are, it's where you're going. It's not what you've done, it's what you're doing. And when I look at somebody, you have an opportunity to make millions of dollars playing a game for a couple of hours a day. You can't maximize that to the greatest of your ability and make it happen. You can't do that. That's an excuse, bro. It just is. Again, if you're a scrub, you're a scrub. I only say Thiago Splitter because of skin. But I mean him no harm. From Brazil. Plays Greg Popovich. Your role is to bang and rebound. When you shoot air balls in a free throw line, I don't hold that against you. Because that's who you are. I get it. But if 5 years from now you're still doing it, we got a problem. You have nothing else to do. How come you're not better? How are you in the league for 10 years and you still say scrub you won 2001? I have a problem with that. There are very few players that I love more than Dikembe Mutombo. Know him personally. His philanthropy, his humanitarian efforts are immeasurable. He also happens to be one of the worst offensive players I have ever seen in my life. Years ago when he was in Philly, and he comes up to me because he's my boy. He just, Steve, just dissing me, man. Steve, this is true story. Said Steve, Kareem. And I said, Kareem what? He said, the Sky Hulk. I said, yeah. Why you bringing that up? Steve, other than Kareem, Steve, Lord. I looked at him and I said, don't ever say I didn't love you. I'm not going to report that. I'm going to keep that to myself. You just compared yourself to the greatest scorer in NBA history. The most unstoppable move we've ever seen in professional basketball. You with your scrub no offense adversary just said that. I mean, that's just blasphemy. You should apologize for bringing that up. I said, don't ever say I didn't love you. I'm not going to bring that up. And I kept it to myself. I didn't say anything. And I tell y'all this, but I never went on TV and said it. Because I love them. And they laugh them out of the country. But it just shows you how far it goes. Some people back home and they need to leave because it's soft. But that's my job. To tell it like I see it. That's what you expect when you see me. And I'm not saying I'm always correct. What I promise you is I do my homework, I do my research, I give you what my opinions are. I've been a journalist for years, and I don't ever cheat anybody with what they expect. I keep it real. I come right at you. And that will never, ever change. I'm not going to be any different. Because I have no desire to be any different. And the haters going to hate, let them come. Doesn't bother me. Comes to church. I got to run, y'all.